Hey guys, this is Alex with Passive Money, and we got Kirby. On this topic, we're going to be talking about a video. We're going to be reacting to it. I'm going to put it up here so you guys can watch it. It's a YouTube short, and then we'll talk about it from there.
Who works harder, me or you?
Me.
How do you know that?
100%.
How do you know that?
You just can't be working 18 hours a day every day the way I am. I just don't think you are. I just believe it in my heart.
I said, who do you think works harder, me or you? He's like, oh, he does. He's convinced he works harder than any person in the world.
It's Gary V.
Yeah. Me. I said, yeah, but who gets more done, dude? Who monetizes more faster? These are the bigger questions, not who works harder.
And that's a meme gone wrong on social media. I hustle, work all the time. It just means you're out there making a bunch of motions.
Dude, like I don't want to hustle. I want to prosper. I don't want to grind. I want to create a machine that monetizes.
All right, so Kirby, what are your thoughts before I get into it? Because I want to see what you say, see if we're on the same page or if I'm thinking of it differently. But what do you think?
Uh, everybody, everybody considers work as output, if that makes sense. What I mean by if you work 80 hours, 100 hours a week, and you making $10 an hour, and I only got to work 40 hours a week, and I make $200 an hour, who's the smarter person? Working hard, and I've always told you this offline, but the hardest working people don't make the most money. The less you physically work or physically have to put into the system, the more you make. So just look at a regular job. When you're a frontline employee, you're making $10 an hour minimum wage, you're busting your butt 12 hours a day. But then the manager, he's sitting back, he might mainly do labor for 2 hours out of that same time you doing 12 hours. Then the manager, the supervisor's doing that. Then the manager of the whole team, he's probably doing manual labor maybe an hour out of the week. But he's making more than everybody else because he's managing. So the actual time that you put in doesn't correlate to who makes the most money. So that's where I felt in there. And when it comes to Gary Vee and Grant Cardone, both of them have points. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes to working hard, that don't correlate to who makes the most money. Like I know a lot of my friends and family members that work trillions of more hours of manual labor than me, but I put in more mental hours and I make more money than they do, but I don't have to beat up my body, beat up my, you know, worry about back issues and all this other stuff or, vision problems and all that other stuff by just doing something else, using my mental energy instead of using my physical energy.
Yeah, and one thing I was wondering too, because Gary Vee doesn't talk as much of like money. At least I haven't seen him talk about money as much. He's like focuses more on like passion and stuff. Whereas Grant Cardone is very open about, the money he makes, equity, cash flow, all that stuff. And it was hard to see like because to Grant, he was saying like I mean, he didn't say it directly, but the way he worded it was like, well, who's making more money basically? He's trying to make a cash flow machine. But is like my question to them would be like, I mean, but doesn't Gary Vee make just about as much of money, but he's not doing it with real estate because Grant Cardone says he has about $3 or $4 billion in real estate, but what percentage of that is loans and what percentage of it is actually equity and how much cash flow is he making compared to the companies that Gary Vee owns. So I don't know. It was just like something I was wondering because they're on the same level as like maybe Gary Vee is overworking, but maybe he's also not. It's hard to compare.
Well, it's over. Don't get it for anybody that's watching. Don't get it confused. I'm not against working. Work. However you get there, different strokes for different folks. But what, and this is just my opinion, what Grant Cardone was saying is everything that Gary Vee does, he has to actively do it. He has to actively go out there to yard sales. If anybody know who Gary Vee is, he has to actively go out there to yard sales. He has to actively go out there to trade card shows. He has to actively go manage his business. He got to actually actively go out there and push all the social media content that he pushes. Grant Cardone, on the other hand, actively finds a deal, gets the deal, and then it's passive ever since. and it will keep paying him without him having to manage the deal at all. So that's what he's trying to say is, yeah, you're working. You could be working harder. You could be out here in front of the cameras and doing all this stuff all day long. But just because you quote unquote work hard, that don't mean you make the most money. And that's the thing that matters. And it construed a little bit when he said, "Who works the hardest?" And Gary Vee said, "I do." And Gary Vee's right because Gary Vee is a hustler, hustler, hustler. Grant Cardone is a hustler, but he hustles in a different capacity. He express hustles the first 3 months of the deal, get the deal done, and then the deal works for him for the rest of his life. Gary Vee has to hustle, 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 hustle along the whole process because if he don't stop hustling, when he stops hustling, that's when the deal stops. That's when the money stops flowing. So that's the difference in two of is not because and if you notice in the video, he said, "Who worked the hardest?" And Gary Vee said, "I do." Then Grant Cardone fixed it and said, "Who makes more money?" You see
Right.
what I mean? Because Gary Vee does work the most, but Grant Cardone's bringing in the most with the concentrated hustle that he does.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like he was saying, create a machine that monetizes, whereas that machine can be operable 24/7, not you operating the machine. Yeah, makes sense.
But yes, and that's what it is, creating a machine. I mean, Gary Vee does create a machine. He has the wine library. He has different things like that. But also Gary Vee also has a lot of, and I believe more, but I could be wrong. He has more employee expenses. He has a lot of, rent expenses and things like that from, the media companies and things like that. And he has to go out there and close deals, himself because he's Gary Vee, and Gary Vee, I if it came to it and we put number of hours in actual work that they're doing, I believe Gary Vee works 10 times as much as Grant Cardone. But I believe Grant Cardone makes more money because he creates more of a machine that doesn't have to have him focus on the attention of it over and over and over again. And the media company, as you know, you sign maybe a 2 year, 3 year media deal, then you got to go back to the table and work it. In real estate, you get the deal, get the property, then you have your manager and everything work the rentals and all that. And that's money that you can make for a lifetime after just, using a concentrated amount of time. But Gary Vee has to go back and recycle, 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 and go in there and try to push it to the next level to make it bigger. And that's just how my view of it. But work hard doesn't matter. I mean, work hard matters. It depends on what you're trying to do. If it's you're trying to make passive income, working hard, you only have to work hard once per project, and then that's it. But when you're working in this active income, you got to keep working hard over and over and over and over and over again. And if you think of it, everything that Gary Vee pushes on social media, everything is active. It's nothing passive unless you know something I don't.
Right. No, of course. I like those points. I agree. Well, guys, if you like this video, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think, if who you side with. But don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and then we'll see you guys in the next video.